Next, we have the session SDG17 in all the other SDGs by Ms. Kalyani Pantangi. Ms. Kalyani is the co-founder, director, Intelligence Solutions Private Limited. She has 20 plus years of extensive resource management, strategic consulting, and sustainability management. She is fully equipped to bring in various quality and sustainability parameters and processes followed by an organization. An excellent presenter, facilitator, guest faculty, lecturer, like leadership coach, motivational speaker, and professional impactivist, supporting and implementing the SDGs wherever possible. Thank you for joining us today, Ms. Kalyani. Over to you for your session. SDG 17 in all other SDGs.
Thank you. Thank you for the entire organizing team for having me here to speak about the most important SDG goal, which is SDG 17. Um, I congratulate and wish the entire organizing team all the very best. Talking about SDG goal 17, why did I say it is important? There are 16 other goals where my preceding speakers spoke about, and these goals can be implemented with acute efficiency only if goal 17 is there in all of it. Now, am I puzzling you? Let's just see how that works. Yeah? So, talking about goal 17, it talks about how we can implement global partnership. I'm not restricting only to global partnership. I will even come down to local partnership, what is needed for SMEs. So, talking about this goal, why is it important? When I take each sustainable development goal, I will be able to clearly explain why partnerships is important in bringing that goal to effect or how we can implement it successfully. So, having said that, the first goal is to end poverty. Though I have mentioned the points over there, I'm not going to talk about what the goal is. I'm going to say how partnership works here. Now, we in India, if you see, there are many places there is still poverty. Our government is taking great steps and great activities to eradicate poverty. And that can happen only through partnership, wherein people who have come forward to people who want or to people who have the need. Am I making sense? So, having said that, this partnership can come at the global level where countries which are very rich can come forward and contribute so that the countries that are really poor, who can't even afford a single meal, can get that one meal or two meals of the day. This is one of the ways of going ahead and eradicating poverty. And the best way to eradicate is bringing education, to bringing in better living by giving better sanitation, better water supply, better food, and health care, what is needed. And that can be done only with partnership. So, the next goal being goal two is to eradicate hunger, as in provide food. Many places, hunger is the biggest giant. It's the devil, many people call it, because they can't afford for the meal. Either they don't have money or the food itself is not available. So, the best way to go about eradicating that is again following the principle that those who have give it to the people who do not have. We were all brought up with this kind of punchline, taught this right from our childhood that sharing is caring. I think we, in the present world, we have come to a stage where we can stop competing with one another and we can start supporting one another. We can start empowering one another. We can start encouraging and helping one another. And this is one of the ways. Give to the people who really need hunger. Hunger is the biggest giant. So give food, share food wherever it is possible. And this, at the global level, you see, it can be implemented only with partnerships. Countries who are producing food in surplus ensure that it's not wasted. And in fact, it is redirected to the countries where there is no food availability at all. So, this is one of the ways we can implement. Having said that, the next goal is to ensure healthy lives. Pandemic has taught us the biggest lesson that we have to care for one another. It has taught us the biggest lesson that we have to take care of ourselves, at the same time we have to take care of 10 other people around us. We have seen the most worst cases in India during the pandemic. But we were there for one another during that time. Yes, we couldn't go personally meet somebody, we couldn't be there for that person, but at least we were there remotely. The words of encouragement, the words of motivation, that needs to be kept up for the rest of our lives. That needs to be kept up globally. When people were suffering in Europe in the first wave, we were all praying over here that nobody should die. And we saw worse things happen in China and Europe during the first wave. When we were going through the same thing in the second wave in India, world was praying for us. World came forward saying, you need vaccines, we will give you. You need support, we will send you support. You need medical help, we will do. This is what is expected. This is what is partnership. And we should keep up that partnership, especially in every goal. Having said that, the next goal being education. Like I mentioned, the best way to eradicate poverty is giving good education. They say you give a fish to a person, you're feeding that person for that meal. But you teach fishing to that person, you're feeding that person for the rest of his life. And the best way to teach fishing for a person is giving that education, the basic education that is needed for them. Give it as a quality education. And the best thing that pandemic has taught us is we need not have to be there physically to educate people. It gives me immense satisfaction and pleasure to see how people in our country are going ahead and reaching those remote villages, giving tabs, giving all kinds of devices so that they get the quality education, even up to the level of business intelligence or artificial intelligence, and that's reaching to the remotest kid over there. I think with partnership, we can cascade this to every nation in the world. And this is an opportunity for SMEs. We SMEs have the power to rise up and take decisions independently and innovate. We can go about innovating ways so that we can cascade this, create this ripple effect, and ensure that the world receives with our innovation. Moving on, the another biggest giant that we see is gender inequality. Gender equality is something that we have all fought through. Especially you ask any woman across the world, not just in India, not just in Asia, not just in Europe, anywhere you ask, somewhere they would have faced that inequality some places. I'm not blaming men for this. I'm not blaming any individual in particular, but this has been the case. I have seen women who had to forego their promotions because they got pregnant. I had seen women whose work was not recognized because they got pregnant or because they were going to go about taking a sabbatical break. Their work was not recognized. They did not get they did not get the awards or rewards they were supposed to get. These are all very, very crucial things that can have an impact on women's mental wellness. And not only that, the inequality has created so much of pressure in women that women who take a sabbatical break, maybe because of family, maybe because of kids, maybe because of self reasons or whatever reasons, if they have to come back to work, the first thing they face is a mind block that they are missing out something in the market. They are losing out the opportunities in the market. The market is way ahead and they are lost behind. Now, we as SMEs, we have the power. Let's encourage women in our work area. One of the forums where I was speaking, one of the speakers mentioned this very clearly. In my company, I have 70% women. Why? Because one, I find the dedication what women have is something really beyond imagination. And the way the women complete work, it's not that men do not have it, but there is something else when it comes to the perfection that women give. And this is something I passionately speak anywhere and everywhere where I'm talking about climate action and climate crisis. That if this entire project is given to women only team, we will see this being implemented in just few weeks. And I'm saying it with conviction. So, women empowerment is something that we SME should emphasize and we have to bring in our day to day activities. Moving on, the next important goal is clean water and sanitization. World has realized that climate crisis has been the biggest issue and pandemic is one of the effects of the climate crisis. Having said that, the next biggest problem the world is facing is water crisis. We in India, we are sustainable. I can say only 1 or 2% population has adopted to the latest technology or latest ways of using water where water gets wasted. But most of us, we still follow the age old way of handling water and we ensure that water is not wasted. I think we as India, we should start sharing our sustainable habits to the world so that water is saved, water is conserved. We have to start adapting and adopting methods and methodologies to conserve rainwater because we are blessed with rains. It's not that we don't have, but if we are prepared, we will be in a position to save water. At the same time, we will be able to overcome the issues of floods because of that water. Having said that, the next important and most clear goal is affordable and clean energy. This becomes very, very important because with UN launching the Race to Zero campaign in mid May last year, one of the emissions that any organization who's signing a pledge with UN has to consider is the energy, which is the scope 2 emission. Now, this scope 2 emission clearly emphasizes organizations have to move to adopt green energy. Wherever possible, go about saving out on energy. I would take a step ahead and say this is an opportunity for SMEs. We SMEs, we can innovate and create ways so that we can conserve energy. We can go about working in such a way, partnering with bigger organizations so that they are able to generate their own energy. At the same time, they are sustainable. At the same time, they are saving out for the government. One such example is bigger organizations in any part of the world, they obviously have buildings which are glass made. Replace that glasses with solar panel. They are generating power over there. Look out for methods and methodologies so that every glass that has a solar panel is able to capture maximum energy. It's just engineering and re-engineering that's required. And we SMEs can go about working on that and we can bring in that innovation and it becomes a business for us. Not only that, whatever energy we have got, we can conserve it. Not only that, we can create processes and procedures so that maximum work happens when there is daylight. And we use lesser power in terms of lighting. We can go about bringing sustainable ways of keeping rooms cool and not use ACs. Definitely, we need heaters. There are sustainable ways of heating rooms. So, we have to go back to our basics and look out for the ways we can bring in those innovations and make that as a business model. Moving on, the next and the most important goal is decent work and economic growth. This is very important for SMEs. Now, the bigger organizations or the giants in the market or the industries that are there, if they make a sustainable commitment or a goal set for them that we will work with vendors with 50-50% model. What is it? We will have vendors 50% of our vendors will be medium sized companies, and 50% of our vendors will be MSMEs, that is micro, small, and medium enterprises. There is a very vast scope of innovation. There is a very vast scope of work being done faster, where companies are already there, they have a hierarchical process, they are process oriented, procedure oriented, work is happening. You go ahead, continue, but at the same time, give it as an opportunity to all these MSMEs, and you see this bigger organizations. I'm saying to them, you see how innovation will be taking the fifth gear in everything they do. You will see these MSMEs churning the process faster because decision making is faster. Work starts moving faster. Start encouraging gig models. SMEs or larger organizations start encouraging gig models. You're saving out a lot in the process. You're becoming more sustainable. You're reducing pollution, you're encouraging people who really need that, you're encouraging the right talent, your work is getting done faster. At the same time, there is innovation. So this is one of the ways that organizations can think, become more sustainable and move, and this can happen only with partnership. I mean, this is my feeling. I put forward my suggestion. Please feel free to take it or discard it. Moving on, to build a resilient infrastructure. Now, this is another crucial thing. Many places where we are living, maybe in India or other parts of the world, the weather is very pleasant. We are blessed. Like, I'm from Bangalore and my weather is very blessed, and I'm really thankful for what I have. But there are places where it is extremely hot. During summer, the temperature can go up to 46, 50 degrees Celsius. And such places, I cannot say don't use AC, you're not going ahead and saving energy. But I can go about encouraging that go back to your sustainable ways. This is something that I learned during my childhood. My grandmom used to light a lamp with castor oil and keep it in a corner only because, even during the day, only because that lamp, because it had to light, it would use the latent heat that's available in the room, and in process, the room would become cool. This is one age old technique, but we have forgotten about it. I think we SMEs have to go back to our basics, go back to our roots, dig out all these kind of techniques that were followed by our ancestors and make it as a business module. Convert it as a business module, and we can sell this. We can become sustainable in our way. We are going ahead and giving solutions to the problems. At the same time, we are going back to our basics. This is a very, very, very crucial thing that SMEs can adopt. Having said that, the next is to reduce inequality. Now, one of the major things that I mentioned in the previous goal is bigger organizations can give opportunities to MSMEs so that they can also work. Another way of going ahead and reducing inequality and bringing in equality is sharing. Wherever you can, stop competing and start collaborating. As organizations, as individuals, as nations, if we start collaborating and if we start working together, we will find solution to many problems. Like it is always said, the wisdom of all is so much compared to the wisdom of a single person. So let's collectively use our wisdom, collectively use our power, collectively use whatever we have and share it amongst ourselves. Moving on, the next goal is how to make the cities more sustainable. There are many cities in the world who have already become sustainable, they are self reliant, and they are doing great. We got to learn from them, and when we learn from them, we see that they could achieve it basically and only because of partnership, only because of collaboration, only because of partnering with one another. We can make every city in this world that way. Only thing, we need to have that right mindset. We need to have the right people driving it with that mindset. Cooperation and collaboration is what is needed. I will not agree that we don't have it, because when the entire world faced pandemic, we were all collaborating, cooperating, and we were doing whatever was told to us. Why can't we do that now to bring in sustainable cities and make our nation sustainable? It's just the mindset and it's just the will that is mattered over here. Moving on, sustainable consumption and production. This is something that India has been following for millenniums. Simplest way we can say is, in our houses, we don't cook more than what we consume. If there is something left, we don't waste. The same thing if it is adopted in every area of our work, every area of whatever we do, I think we will minimize waste. At the same time, we will arrive at a place where we will use what is waste. We will come to a situation and say, best out of waste. It is nice to see many organizations rise up to take and adopt that, saying making best out of the waste. They are doing it today. I think we have to adopt that even in bigger organizations, medium sized organizations, and SMEs, MSMEs. Moving on, our next and most important is climate action, which is very important. Yes, all the nations went ahead and signed the Paris Agreement. They have been working relentlessly towards it. They are doing whatever possible. At the same time, UN has gone ahead and launched this campaign called as Race to Zero, where all the organizations, be it an MSME, be it an SME, be it a medium size or a large organization or an industry, anything, it can even be an NGO, it can be a hospital, it can be a school, it can be a university. We can directly go to UN and say through the channel partner that we care for the climate, and we are going ahead and signing a pledge that we will become carbon neutral by 2030, 2040, and 2050. Only if we partner with UN, only if we partner with our government, our nation, can we bring that carbon neutrality. And only if we are able to bring that carbon neutrality are we able to see that we can minimize the natural calamities that's happening across the world. When there is a calamity, we are all scared what is happening to our loved ones in and around that area. But after that, we sit silent. Now the time has come for us to pull up our socks and start taking action at the individual level. Because I say individual action is collective power, and we have to go about tap at that collective power and bring that power to action so that we can address the biggest issues we are facing because of whatever is happening in the world. Having
Ms.
said that,
Kalyani, sorry to interrupt, but gentle reminder about the time.
yeah, I'm almost
Yeah.
done. So the next and the most important thing is life below water. Yes, I'm a person, I don't eat non-veg. So I don't know what it is like missing out on eating seafood. But definitely those people who eat seafood, they would have found the difference of what it was few years ago and what it is now. Plastic in those animals, disposable waste in those animals. It is really painful. I think we all have to scale up and do something about it. Clean our oceans, clean our rivers, our ponds, our lakes, and ensure cleanliness is maintained, because that's a food for some people and they are living based on that food. And encourage all those fishermen and all those people who are living by that we are there for you, we will collaborate with you, and we will help you, because that business can fall, but we have to be there to support them. And this can happen only with partnership. Government alone cannot take action. We have to support the government. Whichever nation we are, we have to support our government. Having said that, the next and the most important thing is life on the land. Yes, it is nice. We have all sanctuaries, we have all forests, we have all the national parks, everything is good. But what happens to the places where animals are perishing because they don't have food, because the forests are being cut? I think now we have to go adopt the places where we can go about building forests. This is something that in Karnataka we followed few years ago. A whole lot of people during summer came across whatever seeds they could get. They had actually gone ahead and embedded it with soil. So anybody traveling would carry a whole bunch of those seeds and start throwing it in the way so that forests grow again. When it rains, those seeds will germinate and they grow. This is one of the simplest way of doing things. But there are other ways where companies or organizations or people can go about adopting area, land, and develop that land for growing plants, growing trees, and bringing in greenery back. And the moment greenery is back, we are going ahead and sustaining and bringing back life on the land. Moving on, most important thing amidst all this is peace and justice. There is still violence, there is still a lot of issues because of that, human trafficking happening, lot of bribery, lot of other main problems that are there in the society. I think we as individuals, if we start saying no and partnering with the government and other people who are working towards it, we can completely eradicate it. We have to partner as an individual, as a team, as the nation. And for SMEs or MSMEs over here, it becomes very important that we should stop saying no wherever we are asked for bribe. It can be moving a document, it can be procuring a document or a certificate or getting a license. Just say no to bribe and go with the follow process, proper process, and we collectively can achieve it. Think about it. Think about what I'm saying. And finally, partnership goal as an SDG. This itself is very important because not just every other goal can be achieved by partnering, but partnership itself is a very important aspect. The day we stop competing with one another and we start collaborating, we will see partnership. The day we stop going ahead and fighting for what it is and going about with a mentality of sharing, empowering, and building together, we will see a better world. And this can be cascaded to SMEs. How? We are getting a business. Instead of going out for a bigger company, let's go and look out for SMEs who can partner with us and work. Let's look at MSMEs who can support us. As I said, let's go with the gig model of working. These are some of the ways we can bring in partnership in a very big way. Even in a small action, we can see a big movement. To conclude, partnership is needed right from home to running a biggest nation or even taking care of the world. So, you have any questions? Please feel free to write. And thank you once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kalyani, for that amazing and very informative session. As you said, the day we stop thinking of competition and focus on collaboration, we will start seeing a better world. Thank you for joining us today in the summit.
Thank you.